Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy PBK9s, giving it to you the way I always do, fair and unbiased. Some gonna like it, some ain't. If y'all haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification so you'll be in the loop with the videos, and hit that like button before you get up out of here. Big salute, big shout out to the brothers and sisters down in the chat. Big shout out to the brothers and sisters that came up in the chat before the video start, like you always do. Big shout out to all the dog lovers from across the world, from one side to the other. We about to get into that dog talk and that dog news for the day. Got a little bit of news, a little bit of talk. We're gonna talk about crossing some of them red boy Jocko dogs and what's some of the best things to cross with them as well. But first thing I want to speak on is a topic some of my brothers was talking about. And it was when is it the best time to teach your dog how to attack, train him in attack work, protection work. And I always say to my brothers, my opinion, because every dog trainer gonna have his own opinion. My opinion, you need to get that obedience in that dog, because this is the thing. How can you sick a dog on somebody that you can't control? You know, all you trying to do is be able to make your dog attack somebody. And that's what a lot of people do. You can't skip the steps. It's not an easy fix, where you can just get a dog and train him for protection, and sick him on people. Just make him where he growling when he sees somebody. That's not a protection dog. That's a dog that you training to bite somebody, bite anybody. You're not going to be able to control that dog. See, you want your obedience in that dog because you need to be able to control him, in that way, a true protection dog, is obedient. If you don't have no obedience in him, what can you do with the dog? The dog may end up turning on you, biting you. Once he start getting cranked up and rowdy, he don't know what's going on because the only thing you taught him was one thing: bite. You never even taught him who to bite, when to bite it. How much to bite, when to stop biting. You didn't teach him anything. And see, that's the hard part about dog training. It looks good when these brothers got these dogs flying through the air, grabbing on the sleeves, doing all this type of stuff. But the hard part is the part you don't see. All that obedience, all this kind of training. It all boils down to having control over the dog before you turn them to a weapon, because these dogs are considered weapons once they get to that certain level. You know, so how can you have a weapon you can't control? That's like just going out there with a bazooka in your hand and you think you got a 357 or a 38 and you got a bazooka and you just pull the trigger. No control over it all. You're not even gonna get what you expect when you pull the trigger. You're gonna get a whole different thing. You need to learn what you got, finesse what you got, finesse that training, and then work that protection. It's a whole lot easier when you do the obedience, and it's a whole lot safer, and you're doing it the right way. Like, what could you possibly do with a dog that has no obedience training in them and you trying to do a protection? You can never let them off the leash. You always going to have them on your leash. So you're never going to be able to do your different types of training where you're going to need off leash training, and the thing is, say for instance, you never train your dog in obedience and you teach them how to attack. Now you get in a real life scenario, and like I always say, you send the dog, and then the dog, get whoever he need to get. But at the same time, you got to keep in mind, what if? Because we're not talking about folk running from the police officers. Don't get it twisted and think because you see these dogs chasing these brothers through the neighborhoods and they police dogs. That's how it's gonna happen with your dog. Your incident might be a straight uh gunplay incident. It could be a knife incident, bat incident, could be just hands, a drunken man. But it's not going to be the way you see it on TV, on cops channels or stuff like that. So get obedience in these dogs before you try to sick them on somebody, and you're going to understand what I'm telling you when you do it. And like I said before, it's not easy. A lot of people think you can just train a protection dog, or you can get a dog trained for protection for $1,000, $1,500 or something like that. We talking 5 figures for this type of work. 5 figures. And that's, just putting it out there. starting at 10. Because you're talking about real training. You're not talking about uh obedience. Obedience is real training, but I'm talking about a whole nother level. I can go out there and teach my dog how to sit in a matter of a day or two. This is what I'm trying to tell brothers. It don't take long as you trying to make it. You just want to jump up and skip a whole bunch of levels when it comes to certain things, and then you don't get the results you want. You just get a screwed up dog at the end of the day. You got to put discipline in them dogs, man. Big salute to them brothers down in the chat, sisters down in the chat. It's your boy PBK giving it to you the way I always do. We're about to keep this thing rolling, my brothers. Down in Florida, we got a man arrested for animal cruelty, but he was arrested for the same thing in the past. And somehow or another, he slipped through the cracks. But I'm going to let y'all brothers and sisters get to this video. We'll talk about it afterwards. PBK9s, let's get into it.
New information on a suspected a case of animal abuse, out of Lehigh Acres. Several animals were found in dire conditions at a home there.
Police have made an arrest, and that man has been in trouble for similar crimes elsewhere in Florida. Wink News reporter Olivia Jean is in the studio with us. And what have you uncovered about this man's past?
Well, before living here in Lee County, Eric Canora lived in Miami-Dade County. According to the updated LCSO arrest report, Canora in 2021 was arrested in Miami-Dade County after a total of 31 dogs were found in deplorable condition in his possession. Eric Canora is now banned from ever owning animals in Miami-Dade County. But that raises another question. Why was he allowed to have dogs in Lee County? Well, there is no statewide animal abuse registry. Here in Lee County, 5 dogs were found near his home in Lehigh Acres. 3 were found near a stolen front loader and submerged in this 3 to 5 inches of muddy water mixed with feces, making their coats filthy and heavily matted. 2 other dogs were found behind the home. According to the report, all 5 were in horrible living conditions and showed signs of severe neglect and distress. The Lee County Domestic Animal Services took them in and medically checked them. Sheriff Carmine Marcino did give us a statement regarding this arrest. It reads, quote, "It disgusts me that people can mistreat such wonderful animals. These dogs are in good hands now that we have taken them from this monster. I will never tolerate animal abuse of any kind here in Lee County." According to the documents obtained by Wink News, Canora has had 7 different animal cruelty Lee County violations in the past 2 years. Unsanitary conditions and no access to proper ventilation for multiple breeds of dogs were cited as the reasons for the violations. According to LCSO on Tuesday, all 5 dogs are now in good condition. 2 of the dogs have actually already been adopted. As for Canora, he is no longer in custody. He was charged with a misdemeanor for animal cruelty due to the dog's living condition and access to food and water.
Animal cruelty seems to be on up and up in the United States these days, but we're going to keep that news going. We got a woman who was sentenced in prison to 9 years in prison for her role in the animal cruelty case. So y'all check this out. We're going to get into Bloodline talk when it's all over with. Y'all sit tight. Y'all go tell your friends. Let's come in here and talk some bulldogs, some dogs in general, PBK9s. Let's get into it.
Cherokee resident Deborah Catledge was sentenced to prison today after being found guilty on dozens of animal cruelty charges. News 19 shows Bureau Chief reporter Whitney Leibold was there. She has the story.
Well, Catledge was right here at the Colbert County Courthouse this morning, but she walked out knowing she's going to spend the next 9 years of her life in prison. Handcuffed and wearing an orange jumpsuit, she faced the court Tuesday morning. Judge Mitchell Hayes gave a lengthy statement about how her case was one of the worst animal cruelty cases in the state of Alabama. Investigators last year reported finding scores of 28 dead and malnourished dogs and the corpses and bones of several horses. Catledge was sentenced to 30 years, split into 9 years in prison. She is prohibited from owning any animals. Now, Catledge told the court that she would appeal, and we will keep you updated on this story on air and on our website, WHNT.com. In Colbert County, Whitney Leibold, News 19.
Now, let's talk about a little bit about them Big John dogs and what crosses, in my opinion, go good with them. And the ones I've seen throughout the days. I will say, You know, Eli, Eli, and when I say Eli, I don't mean just any kind of Eli. It got to be the souped up stuff. You know, no lazy dogs, souped up Eli dogs. Eli Jeep dogs, no tab. Jeep without the tab in it. You know, and Frisco dogs. And I'm gonna speak a little bit about the Frisco dogs as well. Uh, but I think those particular three lines go great with that stuff. You know, especially if I believe if you say if I take a Big John male or female and breed to a double breeded, I mean like basically top and bottom Eli, all Eli, coming from one family of dogs, not 35 different Eli dogs in the background. We talking one family of dogs, keeping all these traits concentrated throughout the years, you know, and then breeding it back to the Red Boy Jocko, and you get you some good dogs, you know. And then it's all about what you're looking for. You got to look at both dogs, the male and the female. What are you looking for in the offspring? You know, what size, what colors, what this. A lot of people don't care about colors. Most people don't care about colors. Whatever come out, come out. You know, at least as far as what's supposed to come out. But you just gotta figure out what you want out them dogs, you know, and that's how you gotta breed, man. That's how you gotta breed. I could tell you to go Eli, I could tell you to go Jeep or this line, but the what I'm looking at is why I'm saying that. What I'm looking at is what I'm saying that. But you the one buying and you the one breeding your dogs. So you may not see it the way I'm seeing it. You know, you may say the Bolio go better with it because you see certain things. Just in my opinion, you know, the Bolio will go good with it as well, but it needs to be tight bred. Whatever you breed, anything will go good with it. I always say that, you know, the way the brothers got the dogs bred, you know, it's so tight that you pretty much can slam it with anything. And I say Jeep, no tab, because I had more and I seen better dogs come off of the Red Boy Jocko cross back into Jeep that didn't have the tab in it. You know, all other kind of Jeep dogs. And I don't know about the Rodriguez Gator dog. You know, I'll be lying if I say I know how that cross turned out. You know, a pure Rodriguez Gator dog, you know, which will be Jeep, bred back to the Big John stuff. I mean, it got to turn out great because I'm thinking, you know, like I tell brothers, that Big John stuff, like my man say, that Big John stuff is the lemonade. You know, you can stretch it. You know what I'm saying? You can stretch it. And you just add it to whatever you got. Make you some pink lemonade, make you some Hawaiian punch lemonade, fruit punch lemonade, grape lemonade, orange lemonade, whatever you want to make it, it's going, you know, it's going to enhance whatever you got already. You know, and I don't want to sound like I'm trying to toot that Big John stuff horn or none of that stuff, but the brothers did a great job in preserving the traits in the dogs. You know, they will enhance certain dogs. You know how we was talking about breeding up and breeding down a few weeks ago? You know, breeding up, to brothers that didn't catch that video, breeding up is when you taking a bull jive female, you know, that ain't hitting on nothing, a cur, and you breed it to a good dog, a good male dog, you know? So you breeding up, you trying to breed better, you know, into the offspring and hope it turn out better than the mother. You know, you don't want to, I don't know nobody who want to breed down. Breeding down will be breeding away, breeding your traits away, you know, breeding your traits away. Now, breeding your traits out. But yeah, man, and when it comes to them Frisco dogs, you know, I'm gonna say like this: them Frisco dogs coming directly out Frisco, not Frisco in the 5th generation. You know, of course they won't be coming straight off Frisco right now, maybe because of the year that we in. But I want to see Frisco and the whole pedigree, you know, top to the bottom, and then you take that and cross back to the Big John stuff. And then I believe you get great dogs from that as well. Because when it comes to the Frisco dogs, they great when it comes to their structure. Very energetic dogs. Um, you know, teeth great. Bone structure, pretty great. I have seen a lot of those dogs coming from Ghana with them like shorty cowboy legs. You know what I'm saying? Them little funny looking legs. I've seen a few of his dogs look like that. Cause when I told y'all that we had off Bobby Peru was like that. And then she was supposed to be Bobby Peru and Red Man. I want to say Cottonham's Red Man. She was a brown, what they call a red brown with a black mask. Same color as basically Mayday, just a tad bit darker. She was a tad bit darker. Or redder, I should say. But that's them Frisco stuff, man. I ain't real big on all them dogs that brother got, but I know a few of them, are good dogs. A lot of the ones that we got from them back in the days, they was small dogs outside of the black ones that we got off Frisco. Now, the black Frisco dogs, they was about 42, 43 pounds, somewhere around that area. Big, not fat, but good and solid. They couldn't make it no 50-pound dogs or nothing like that. But we also got, like I was telling y'all brothers about the Black Chance dog. He was a short dog, a good 35 pounds maybe 37, somewhere in that area. We had a female. I don't want to say the wrong name. She was a little short, hot bitch. Bought her as a grown dog, and I don't want to say a name, but it's one of them. It's I don't want to say the wrong name rather, because I gotta make sure that I just don't get up here babbling and I'm giving the truth and speaking on my truth, But yeah, man, that Frisco stuff, it'll go great with it. Now it's a whole bunch of lines. Like I said, man, you just gotta look at what you want, what you trying to bring out the dogs, what kind of dog you got. You gotta look at more than just that pedigree that you got there. You gotta go look at the dog himself or herself, and look at them and look at the if you bred the female before, what traits came out? Even though you bred them with different dogs, was she a prepotent dog? Did all the puppies look like her, or did they look like the daddy? Just some things you need to pay attention to when it comes to all that stuff, man. Now, just because I said the Big John go good with the Frisco, brothers will take it and get it twisted. I didn't say all Red Boy Jocko go good with the Frisco. We speaking about a specific family of dogs right now. Because I had dogs coming off of the champion Hickory dog, directly off Hickory, bred back to Mayday granddaughter. And them puppies was they wasn't all that. Matter of fact, the puppy looked like a sausage dog. Puppy looked like a sausage dog. And then we bred I'm gonna tell you, we had one named McDaniel. McDaniel was off Tom Jack Mill. McDaniel was off of Tom Jack Mill, bred to, he had been bred to that same Mayday female that I'm talking about. We bred her to the Hickory dog. No, we bred that Hickory dog to the Jeep, the tab female that I told y'all about that came out with the real small but the hot puppy. But the Tom Jack male, we bred him to the Mayday female, and them little puppies came out looking like sausage dogs because the Tom Jack male was real big, probably a 55-pound chain weight dog, and the Mayday dog, she was probably about 40 pounds at biggest, and that puppy, he'll go, but he like a sausage dog. He was the only one off that litter. Now, I don't really consider Red Boy dogs, Red Boy, like the Mayday stuff, I don't really consider that crosses into the Big John dogs. But at the same time, I do consider it a cross into the Big John dogs because of the fact of the matter is, it's a different family of dogs. You know, even though it's Red Boy Jocko, it's a different family of Red Boy Jocko. It's like the Big John stuff has been bred in his own family for so long that even though it's Red Boy Jocko, you know, when you breed it to another family of Red Boy Jocko dogs, it's almost like a cross, you know, because the blood been concealed and confined for so long. It's almost just like a cross. And truthfully, man, if we consider each dog to be carry their own genetic traits, but also the dog before them traits, you know, because every dog that make breeding, every dog that breeds gets 50-50. It comes from the mother and the father, you know. So even though this dog is a Red Boy dog, he got a bottom side, and if it's not pure Red Boy, then they carry their own traits and genes. So by the time it got the dogs like Big John and Little John them, you know, it's like they were their own dogs. And now say we talking 20 years later or 15 years later, you know, and not going out to any other crosses or any other outs. All that stuff has been confined for so long that when you take a Mayday dog and cross to it, it's just like taking an Eli dog and crossing to it. You know, you just get a bigger gene pool. Now, if you would have took a Mayday dog directly off of them back then and took a Big John dog directly back then, it would have been, you know, a whole lot closer. You know, we can say that the Red Boy from Mayday and the Jocko from Mayday would have been clashing and combining with the Red Boy and the Jocko from Big John back in them days because it was so close coming directly off the yellow stuff. But now as we go year after year, 20, 30 years later, these new dogs carrying their own traits, you know, and when you're not going out the family, all them traits gonna stay inside for 15, 20 years. You know, now we got a Mayday family over here that never bred into this family in the last 30 years. This is a whole nother line coming into these dogs now. I mean, it's no different if you use Red Boy. If I got a boomer coming down off Sammy Abraham boomer, Red Boy yard, and all of it is bred up and down off the boomer stuff, you know, and I never went out. Whatever I started with is whatever I got 25 years, just the grandkids, great grandkids, triple great grands. I never really went out to no Red Boy dogs, you know, for sure. To no other Red Boy dogs but my own. Now, you got a different strain of Red Boy dogs over here, you know, that you've been running your own family with. And you never crossed into mine. And we talking 30 years later, you know, how many, I mean, I'm not going to say it's not like it's going to be low or high, but what I'm asking y'all brothers and sisters in the chat is, how much of Red Boy, Mr. Bass Red Boy DNA is actually in these dogs from 2024? You know, I mean, the Red Boy dog, how much of his DNA is in these dogs? And it may be a lot, it may not be none. And that goes for all the dogs. You know, how long, if a brother starts a family of dogs in the late 80s, early 90s, and he inbreeds from then to now, doing maybe an out here and an out there, but going back in, you know, and we talking 30 years later, how much of the dog genes is actually there? Just like, give you another quick example, Mellow Yellow, Fletcher, you know, pure Big John dogs. But how much of Big John actual DNA is in them? You know, on paper, it's Big John all the way through and through. You know, performance-wise, they're still performing the same way, you know, but DNA is what I'm talking about. Actual DNA from these dogs. And it could be 100%. I'm not even talking about if you paper pedal anything. We're not talking about that. Like I said, if you bred straight from the main source, Red Boy, and it's 2024, you know, how much of Red Boy real DNA do you have in the dog? You know, can you take your dog, get them DNA'd, And if they had Red Boy DNA, Red Boy himself DNA, would your dog come back to Red Boy? Would Mellow Yellow? See, Mellow Yellow will have a better chance of coming back to Big John because Big John is not as far back as Red Boy is in the years. You know, Red Boy is from the 70s coming into the 80s, the 70s. You know, Big John is, or Red Boy is the 80s. You know, Big John is the the late, well, the 90s. Yeah, the 90s. So, you know, it's a little bit different. Uh, and you know, and I think Big John, you know, was still making puppies in the 2000s. You know, whether you want to say they was or you want to say they wasn't, they were still making puppies in the 2000s. So it'll be easier to get something coming directly off him and saying it still got DNA in it because it's closer than Red Boy. I can expect that. You know, but even with the Jeep dogs, any bloodline, Bolio, let's go back to these old school dogs that go back to the 70s, like Eli. You know, we take a pure Eli Yard, Mr. Boudreaux, and get a dog from 2024. Get it DNA'd. Will it have any DNA from the original Eli? Is what I'm saying. You know, and it's probably going to be high. I don't have an answer for this. I'm asking my brothers and sisters in the chat, you know, so nobody get it twisted like I'm saying, oh, it won't or this and that. I'm just asking, you know, just asking, my brother. And like I said, it goes for all lines, man. You got lines like, let's think of some more dogs these brothers call back from the 80s, the Honey Bunch dogs. Like, how many of your dogs really got Honey Bunch DNA in it? And what I'm saying, I'm not saying that your dogs aren't off these dogs or none of that type of stuff. I'm just asking a question. How far does this dog actual DNA goes now that we 40 years into these dogs? You know, when say we gonna use Red Boy again. Say when they got about year 2000, how many of them dogs and how high was the DNA percentages in those dogs? Not the bloodline and all that and the pedigrees. I ain't talking about none of that. I'm talking about the actual DNA that these dogs can be connected to Red Boy from the year 2000. And like I said, gotta verify it again, say it again, clarify it again. You know, I'm not saying that these dogs aren't off these dogs. I'm just saying, how far does the DNA go in these dogs? And I'm making it go test Mellow Yellow, and she'll come with DNA from Grand Champion Yellow. I don't know. You know, somebody's out there that know, you know, more than me in that particular subject, and that's what I'm asking for, because I tell you, we all come here to learn something. You know, not just y'all listening to me. I need to know stuff from y'all as well. Now, I'm going to speak on another subject, you know, my brother told me about, and this is real. This is real. You know, it's what you call double mating, right? Double mating. And this is what I get from it. You know, you take the female, you breed it with your male, your two males you got. And has even been proven that 3 males can sire 1 litter of puppies. You know, now we just gonna go with the 2 for right now. Both of them dogs hit that female. When you get them puppies, you get the whole litter DNA and both daddies DNA. Now, if you got 10 puppies, 3 of them coming back to Zeus, 7 of them coming back to, you know, matchmaker. You know which cross. So now you cut the time. You know, that would have took you a year and a half to do. Or a year and some change. You got 1 heat, then you got to wait till the next heat come. You got to wait till the puppies get winged and all that and go out and do all kind of stuff. You know, so that's time. Now, if you breed 2 males to it and get the whole little DNA, you know, you got to get a DNA. You can't go off the eye. You can't go off the eye. You got to be professional about that. You know, this ain't no this backyard breeding like y'all call backyard rolling and all that. This is no backyard style breeding. This is you got a plan in mind. You want to spend some money because you have to get them DNA'd. It ain't gonna cost that much to get them all DNA'd. You know, you can go to any real DNA company and get them DNA'd. As long as you got both of them males and that one female and all them puppies. You know, and you know you're gonna have the 3 puppies off one dog, one male dog. It's gonna run that way. He may be an Eli dog, so you got 3 Eli Red Boy Jocko right here, and then this other dog may be a Tombstone Bolio Macho Buck cross. You know, so you got 7 of the Macho Buck crosses with the Big John stuff, and then you got 3 Eli crosses with the Big John stuff, and then you saved a whole bunch of time. You know, forget what they're talking about out there about this and about that. I'm just explaining to you what's real if you're going to do it. You know, it's a whole lot different than trying to breed 2 dogs to a dog and then you're going out trying to go by the eye and say, oh, this, that, and this. No, I ain't talking about no eye. DNA counts all that stuff right there. DNA going to tell you whether them dogs off the 2 males that you even bred them with, period. You mess around and stray hit it, and then you're going to be out there. You'll be out there upset then. Zeus neither matchmaker to daddy. You know, so whatever the DNA tell, and like I said, it's no trouble to get 10 puppies or whatever puppies you got DNA off of 2 different daddy dogs. And once the results come back, you know what it is. I don't know how ADBA gonna do it. I mean, yeah, ADBA gonna do it. You know, you have to figure all that stuff out. You know which one you're gonna do and how you gonna do it. You know, but hey, if both dogs breed to the female and they've been DNA'd, the whole litter has been DNA tested, how can you not know who the daddies is? And we ain't talking about breeding no 2 brothers to a dog. We talking about 2 different bloodlines going into the Big John stuff, you know. And this ain't nothing I'm thinking about planning on doing, so don't take this conversation farther than what we doing. We talking, you know. Big salute to my bulldoggers out there, man, and them real bulldoggers out there, you know, the bulldog women out there. And I hope everybody's safe, man. I hope everybody recovering from them storms over the weekend. It was one of them big storms that stretched state to state. You know, everybody felt a little bit of something. Brothers and sisters in South Carolina was getting just as much as water as brothers and sisters in Florida, but in different ways, man. That storm was a little stronger than a lot of people anticipated. You know, when I've been through with Hugo back in the day, see Hugo, the thing with him, he was a big storm like that. When you got storms that cover 3 and 4 states at one time, you know, you get something different. You know what I'm saying? You get something different because when they that big, you know, the storm still be on water and you know, that storm was like a 3 or 4 maybe when it came in. You know, so like I said, man, I hope everybody made it out safe. Check on your people out there if you got people out there, you know. Check on your people, my brothers and sisters. We're just talking about these bloodlines, man, making crosses. And a little bit of logical things when it comes to breeding, you know, when it comes to breeding. Now, I will say I never said the Big John stuff is the best stuff out there. But what I will say is that it's certified yellow in the days that a lot of things can't be certified, you know, can't be verified. You know what I'm saying? And I know that stuff is the real deal, Holyfield. So, and one thing about it, like I said, I never said it was the best. But it's one thing about learning a line. I never said it was the best, you know, but like I said, when you work with something for 15, 20, 25 years, you pretty much know it in and out. You know what to do, how to do, and when to do it with that particular line. You know, and that's what, see, brothers always say certain things about being kennel blind or this or that or this or that. You know, it ain't about being kennel blind. It's about mastering whatever you're working with. and you don't master stuff with one litter. You can't just see everything with a line of dogs with one litter of dogs, you know. And if a lot of y'all brothers be lucky enough to make it to where you work a line for 20, 30, 40 years, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You see the ups, the downs. You're going to know your line. You're going to know what's what with that line. You're going to speak with confidence with that line. That's why I say what I say about having a certain amount of puppies in a litter that's on fire, and a certain amount of puppies in a litter that's curves. A lot of brothers feel comfortable saying it's a hit and miss. I don't feel comfortable saying it's a hit and miss because we breed that shit. That's why I step with confidence when it come with that type of stuff, man. I step with confidence when it come to that breeding, the line I'm running with. And like I said, it ain't no better than what your line is or your line is. I just take pride in mine. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it, like I said, certain things stand the test of time. Certain things stand the test of time, and that stuff, no matter what you say or how you sit, it stood the test of time, and them boys bred it up the right way to where you can have it today's time. Today's time. Hey, it just is what it is, man. It is what it is. Like I always tell brothers, man, everybody heroes ain't everybody heroes. Yours ain't mine and mine ain't yours. And it just is what it is, man. You just got to keep on bulldogging out there. Keep on bulldogging, doing your thing, taking care of them dogs, man. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And I got a little bit of news before we get back. I'm going to get back into that dog, them pedigrees and stuff, or at least the bloodline talk. But I want to give y'all this as well. Man starts a forest fire. This man started a whole forest fire trying to cremate his dog, man. Ain't too much to say about it. Let me get straight into the video.
Right now on the bucktail fire burning out in Montrose County, a Nucla man, get this, is accused of starting the blaze because he was trying to cremate his dog.
According to an affidavit from the Montrose County Sheriff's Office, 63-year-old Brent Garber, a homeless man, tried to perform a ceremony for his dog who had been recently euthanized. The affidavit says he put his dog in a pit and lit the wood, then threw a fly spray can, which later exploded and then caught a tree on fire. The bucktail fire started August 1st and has burned more than 7,000 acres. It's roughly 80% contained. Garber is due in court tomorrow for a plea hearing. He's facing arson and trespassing charges.
Now I'm going to speak on a few dogs that I've seen crossed already with the Big John stuff, like the Bolio dogs, the Consuela dog. If you look in the Bud offspring, we had one named Little Bud. It was off Bud and Consuela, and Consuela was the Bolio side. And that was a great dog. That was a great dog. That's the same dog that I told you that out-hunted the Hickory dog that I had. And it took about 45 minutes. Hickory dog had teeth like this. No lie, no exaggeration. That Hickory dog had the biggest teeth for the small dog. He was probably about 41. I think we went like 41 or something like 42. And man, that Hickory dog had teeth from hell. But after about 45 minutes, that Consuela and that dog off Bud, which was Little Bud, that Little Bud dog was scratching like a missile. And he was scratching so hard that the Hickory dog started getting smart to knowing he was coming across so hard. He started waiting for him to get there. Every scratch, you could tell it. Every single scratch that the Little Bud dog did, the Hickory dog was getting further and further back in the corner. He met him in the middle. And then the next time he met him a little further over. Next time he was getting to the point where he was meeting him in the corner as soon as he let him go. And that's what happened. That joker pinned him in the corner. Once it got to that point where he pinned him in that corner, it was the Hickory dog scratch. Now you let him go, he waiting on that dog there to come flying back across that corner again. And when I say flying, I mean flying. He waiting on that. But this time the dog ain't come. He waiting on it, so he took the count. It ain't even that. I don't even think it's that he got tired. The dog, for one, if you a handler back then, You always did what was best for your dog, right? So rookie mistake that was being made on 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 my behalf, was to let him get all that. I should have been, as soon as he released his dog, I know he coming. I should have released mine. And that way, every single time, as the farthest he could have met him would have been in the middle. Even on his scratches. I'm not holding my dog back then and letting your dog fly across that corner, until he pinned him in my legs and then let mine go for his scratch. I wasn't doing that. I never did that. But on this particular dog, I should have let him go even earlier. Soon as he let his dog go and I seen he was coming, I should have just let him go. Don't worry about if he come to make the touch. As soon as I see him coming, let him go. Because it ain't no rule saying you got to hold him till he get there. If you want to win, you'll hold him till you get there. If you know he ain't coming, you'll hold him till he get there. But ain't no rule saying you got to hold him. So if he know he coming and you see it in his eyes that he coming, I'm going to go ahead and let mine go. Go ahead and let him go. And that way, he'll never get pinned in that corner. He going to always go out. You know what I'm saying? He going to always go out. Always go out until he get tired. He ain't going to get pinned back in that corner and learn a smart technique, and start trying to outsmart the other dog and thinking he being smart. Now he done lost you a show. And that was like I'm saying, I'm speaking on that was the Red Boy Jocko Bolio cross. Another one that was good that I seen up in there was that Mountain Man stuff. I don't know how many brothers and sisters got the Mountain Man dogs these days, far as bred real tight. I don't really see a whole bunch of them, bred real tight. Not saying they weren't great dogs, but it's a lot of great dog men. And like I always say, these dog confiscations, these dog seizures, that's what most of these dogs going at. It's 2024. We can probably bet all our bottom dollars. You know what I'm saying? That from 2024, go all the way back to Mountain Man Homer. And you can bet your dollar that a bunch of them Homer dogs done got confiscated, got put down. Jocko dogs as well, probably. Like a lot of the dogs that we don't got certain bloodlines of or been not as plentiful as other dogs. I seen a brother speaking about the Abraham's Queen Hearts the other day, and not having that stuff bred up real tight as they should have. But you never know with all these seizures, man. All these seizures, these dogs is disappearing. The original dogs, So I think that them seizures play a big part of it more than what brothers be giving it. You know what I'm saying? We always like to say that these brothers ain't making the breedings, or the sisters ain't making the breedings, or they didn't want to cross that way, or this and that. But maybe they crossed that way, but we just the dogs getting tooken one way or another. Some of them didn't make the cuts, and the other ones getting tooken. Now let's see. I heard some brothers having some good success with that Eli dogs crossed into that stuff, but I'm not sure actually what strain of Eli dogs. Me myself, I will go the Garner route with my Eli because I know his dogs. Mr. Boudreaux would be a good route to go, but I'll be doing a lot of guessing with Mr. Boudreaux stuff, because I don't got no experience with it. So, one good litter or something, or one bad litter, I don't know what's what with these dogs. I don't know the athleticism. See, I know Garner dogs are athletic, and isn't the Epinette stuff coming down off the Eli stuff as well? He has some great looking dogs, if I'm not mistaken. It could be coming down off the Jeep, but I want to say the Eli stuff. But either way it go, no matter where they coming off of, Epinette got some good looking dogs. Have a lot of white in his dogs. Not a bad thing, but I'm just making a statement. It's kind of like I could tell his dogs when I see them. No, that's an Epinette dog. And that's a good thing when you got a dog that can be called out like that. The same way we say about the Bailey's Bingo, we can call them out when we see them. That's a good thing, man. That's his traits are going down from year after year after year. Maybe. But don't forget what we was talking about breeding the 2 different males, man. Don't forget about that. And don't forget the most important thing is to get them DNA. Because if you don't get them DNA, you're just doing some backyard shit and it ain't going to work the way you want it to work or it's supposed to work. And you're going to be tricking people, or you're not going to be necessarily tricking them, but you're going to be, it's not going to be necessarily what you think it is. Unless you got to say a black dog and another colored dog, then you could probably tell if it's this. But then what if the red dogs don't throw off no black dogs? Then you won't be able to tell. So you got to get them DNA, if you're going to go that route. Let's see here, my brothers. Like I said, I hope everybody having a great day, man. Gonna have a great weekend. Ain't bet too much money on them football games. And make sure you bet it on the right team. I've been hearing a lot of bad things about them Cowboys. Maybe we can get us a good Cowboy fan up here, one of them real true Cowboy fans up here, man, and cut loose up here, man. Cause I know we got some Cowboy fans that just want to talk they trash up here, cut loose on the airways, but we'll make it happen, man. We'll make it happen, And like I said, I always say, man, big salute and big shout out to all the dog lovers from one side of the world to the other. Big salute to all the brothers. Take care of these dogs because we know it be a struggle. Know it be a struggle. And my brothers and my sisters, like we always say, don't get in this game trying to get rich. But that's the old saying, my brothers. This is what I'm going to tell you. And like me and my boy was talking about, they used to say you can't get rich. You don't get in the pit bulls if you're trying to get rich and all that, right? But this the thing, man. This the thing. At some point, you got to say, enough is enough, right? If you're making a name for yourself, you can do what you want to do with your dogs, my brother. Or if you make a name for your dogs or however it's going to go, you can do the money you trying to see. A lot of brothers, you look at what other brothers do, and then you go get the dogs. But the thing is, you don't got the clientele that the next brother got. And see, clientele is what gonna sell the dogs. So if you don't got no clientele, it's no different than nothing else. It's just gonna sit on the shelf. It's just gonna sit on the shelf and sit there and collect dust. In other words, the dog will grow up on your yard, which may not be a bad thing, but it's gonna be getting back to the point where we saying you're not gonna make the money you thought you was gonna make. We in today's time now that you're gonna have to do your marketing, your actual marketing with that dog. To do the things that you're trying to do, and once you do that, then you see something different, but that old saying is very, very true, man. My whole dog career, when I was doing all that stuff, I didn't make no money on my dogs like that. I was doing my other thing on the side, so I really didn't care about selling no dogs. No puppies or nothing like that. I always told brothers, I had a lot of bad luck with puppies back in my younger days. I was a performer. I can get down when it came to performing, but when it came to them puppies, man, my females and raising the puppies up, I wasn't doing good with it. Now let's just talk about what we was talking about with the breeding just a few seconds ago, but let's just use some famous dogs' names, Just say we took Big John and bred him to and Big John and Jeep. Big John and Jeep and bred them to your female. And then you take the whole litter and get them DNA'd, the mama and both daddies. How hard is that? And you're going to come back to which one belonged to which one. And it's going to save you, like we said at the beginning, a lot of time. And the only thing you really paying is for the DNA test. But you're going to have to be serious about them DNA tests. You can't play with it. You can't, like I said, you can't say you doing it off the eye. No matter how much of a seasoned dog man you is, you can't see through that dog gene and them dog genetics and all that. In the blood, them little chromosomes and all that type of stuff. You can't see all that stuff. So if you serious about it, I'm looking, down in the chat. I want to see what brothers think about it. If you getting the dog DNA, and like I said, this is something that we're not talking about with the papers and all that. This is just talking about in general. If you're a man who like bulldogs, and you know one of them brothers who say he not worried about papers, and I'm quite sure if you videotape your whole procedure, take pictures of your procedure, or either you talk to the patty them before you do your procedure, and you tell them what's going on, and you got the DNA doctor letters and all that stuff to verify what you're talking about, I'm quite sure she can do the register the other male as well, or other female to whoever they belong to. Now, I could be wrong, but I mean, if it can be verified DNA wise, I don't see why it couldn't be written up like that. And just a little recap from what we was talking about earlier. Always put your discipline in your dogs when you're trying to do your protection work, man. Like I said, man, how can you have a dog that you're gonna sick on somebody that you can't control, that you can't pull off? You don't want to sick them on nobody unless you have to, because them dogs are considered weapons. You want the dog to be trained so he'll know when to protect you on his own. If you got him trained right, you don't gotta say none of that type of stuff. He gonna react when he's supposed to react. And that's the cool part about it. Having a dog that you can let go. He's not gonna just go out there and attack somebody. He's trained enough because you trained him to be around you and know when to make that move. That's what you want him to know, when it's okay to attack somebody. You just don't want him to attack anybody. Just certain times. Hopefully you never get into them situations. And you can only train them. I mean, you can only get that bite work out of him when you're doing training, because, he never in that real life situation. And that's going to be great, because nobody wants to have to use a dog against somebody, because that means something going wrong. So we all hope to never have to use a dog that we train for protection. No matter how much you want to see if he really do this or do that. I'm talking about real life scenarios. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna keep y'all brothers and sisters here too long tonight, man. Like I always say, y'all remember where y'all get it from first. Y'all remember what channel y'all at. PBK9's Dog Talk, Dog TV. You know what I'm saying? Giving it to you fair and uncut, raw and unbiased. And I'm out.